Next speaker is our very own Al Banfield, Staff Sergeant, U.S. Army, Vietnam, 1968, 6th Battalion, 31st Infantry, 9th Division. Award, Bronze Star Medal with 5th Device, retired combat citation. And Al, as you all know, is very modest, and I thank him, and I do this to him every year, but we need to know, those of you who know Al, he's the low-profile individual, and this is a great effort for him to be here. So, but I'm sorry, Al, I want to read your commendation. You know, to have someone like this in our midst is great, all right? So, for heroism in connection with military operations against an armed, hostile force in the Republic of Vietnam, Staff Sergeant Banfield distinguished himself by valorous actions on 18 October 1968 while serving as a platoon sergeant with Company C, 6th Battalion, 31st Infantry, on a reconnaissance in force mission north of McCoy, when his company's advance was held up by intense fire from a group of enemy-occupied houses. Sergeant Banfield courageously led his platoon on an assault of the Viet Cong positions, enabling other platoons in his company to continue onwards to their primary objective. Staff Sergeant Banfield's personal bravery and devotion to duty are in keeping with the highest traditions of the military service and reflect great credit upon himself, the 9th Infantry Division, and the United States Army. Al?
I don't know where you got that, Carol. I know all you people out there have heard me before. This is about my third time. And I do this with great emotion. I don't like doing this. It isn't because of you, it's because of me. I'm here today to give you a perspective of a soldier's experience. And it's hard for me to acknowledge openly that 46 years ago, I became a disabled Vietnam veteran who was 22 years old, staff sergeant in the U.S. Army, and a leader of men that were only 18 and 20 years old. To acknowledge that my experience was not only combat, but also being wounded and flown by helicopter to a base hospital. There I was, in a one-story warehouse type building, lined with maybe 60 to 70 beds. Each bed had with someone wounded. Several medical personnel were in attendance, but truly, with all the different types of casualties, it was hard to attend to each wounded soldier. There was just too many casualties. I was one of those casualties, laying there, bandaged, and unable to walk, not saying anything when I was in pain, and at night experiencing of lying in bed, hearing the moans and the groans of people in so much pain, and here I am with just a leg wound when others had no arms, no legs. A nurse noticed me, made me take some pain medication. She explained that the medicine was necessary to help me rest and to heal me better, and that I shouldn't lie here in bed in so much pain. But I felt that caring for me was taking some medical person or some medicine away from those that needed it more. Many more names would be on the wall in Washington if it weren't for the people of the Medical Corps. Every person who has been in the military can tell you many different experiences, but one thing is the same. That is, they leave home, perhaps never been away from home, to go through months of training or more. Then after that training is sent off to a place hundreds or thousands of miles away from home. And during World War I through Vietnam, were put there in that situation unwillingly through the draft. Whatever the scenarios are, all military personnel did something that you and I would look at in total amazement at how they could even accomplish their tasks. Working in the heat, cold, being on full alert 24 hours a day, not an 8-hour to 10-hour shift or a 24 on or 48 off. And on top of that, being shot at. Each person in these scenarios did their job and are doing their jobs as they were trained to do, with tenacity, with courage, and with honor. Veterans of Vietnam came home to a very unpopular war, although in the beginning it was called a police action. People were demonstrating against the war because of U.S. involvement and because of the loss of so many lives and wounded. Years later, upon the release of the Pentagon Papers, that solidified the public's view, exposing what high-ranking individuals in our government and military knew, that Vietnam was a losing cause. This is what made Vietnam different. There was no appreciation for those that came home. Instead, there were derogatory name-calling. They transferred their frustrations to the people who fought. How do you think that would make you feel, especially in a post-combat mental state that all veterans must deal with? And because no veteran is proud of what they have done in the line of duty, but it makes it somewhat easier to digest when a person is welcomed. Today, our military is all volunteer. Whether the volunteers' reason is valid or not, they enlist. These people are still soldiers, airmen, sailors, and Sergeant, they're Marines too. Because they want to be, and they also are proud to accomplish what they were trained to do with tenacity, with courage, and with honor. Wouldn't you want this type of person protecting you? Today is Memorial Day. What is it? A holiday. To have a barbecue, to advertise a sale, and that's okay. But while these things are happening, what about us reflecting on why this day is instituted? Just a little bit. Stop and take note of 2 days out of the year should be very important to all of us. Memorial, Veterans Day. Or are we going to allow what each military person who has abandoned their homes and loved ones for us be remembered as a sale at Walmart? When you see military personnel in fatigues or uniform, go up to them, say thank you for your service. Or if you know a veteran, call them, thank them for their service. Open your arms when they come home. Give them a job when they come home, if they need one. Help in putting together care packages to be sent overseas. Be proud of what they are doing or have done, and never forget the fallen. We all know that the old saying of history repeats itself, and I hope not in this case, because as a country, hopefully we should have learned from Vietnam. That we must not forget those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, and for those that have given forth their efforts, we have to keep their memories alive. Do not let your politics interfere with your feelings, for we must remember our military personnel that have given us their sacrifice, even if the reason is not of your belief. But isn't that your freedom? Freedom to express, which our military represents. And if we do forget, aren't we doomed to repeat? All gave some gave all. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Today is, as Al said, is Memorial Day. And in the United States, we have two holidays. We have Memorial Day and Veterans Day. In South San Francisco, we recognize those that made the ultimate sacrifice. But we also, as Al said, to keep it fresh in our memories, we also recognize the veterans and those currently serving in active duty. We honor you. We thank you for your service. We also want to recognize the families who have made so many sacrifices. So if you don't mind, please stand. Families, those that are inactive or veterans, and those that are standing, raise your hands so we can thank you. Now, today we're having something special. The Community Outreach Committee learned of something from one of our committee members, Shane Looper, who's a member of the Garden Club. And the Garden Club has a Blue Star Memorial. And so today we have Director Nancy McDougall from the Bay Ocean District of California Garden Clubs to explain what this is. And it is here in perpetuity. Nancy?
I am proud to be here this morning representing California Garden Clubs and the local clubs of Bay Ocean District. The Blue Star Marker program was begun by National Garden Clubs Incorporated in 1946 following World War II as a visible tribute to the men and the women of the armed forces actively giving their strength and many giving their lives to protect and defend our country during that time. Markers now honor all service personnel, both past and present, your ancestors, family members, and friends, recognizing that it is the members of the armed forces who have secured, through their service, all of the freedoms that we now enjoy. In addition to the marker, California Garden Clubs and National Garden Clubs is proud to present the Certificate of Appreciation to the City of South San Francisco and their community, all the members of the community here on the occasion of this Blue Star Memorial Byway Marker dedication. Carol.
Mark? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Council, we're going to unveil. Could you join me, please?
We have in front of us council member and mayor for years here in South San Francisco, Mr. Richard Garbarino. Richard, thank you very much for the service that you have done here in the city. What do you think of this Memorial Day celebration every year?
Well, thank you, Pedro. And first of all, let me thank you for the years of service that you gave to the city. Let's don't forget that. This is a very important day. We should never, ever forget, as the speaker said, those who gave so much for us so that we could have this day, so we could live in freedom and live in peace. We owe them a great debt. And this is just a small token, a way of saying thank you. Thank you for your service to your country. Thank you for what you've done for us. I will never forget you. I'm sorry, I have a relative whose name's on the wall. It makes it hard for me. But thank you, Pedro, for the opportunity to say this, and to all of you out there who are listening, please remember our veterans and those who are currently serving to keep us safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garbarino. Thank you, council member. Tom Witter is your last name, and you are a resident of South San Francisco. Have you attended these celebrations before?
I have.
Okay. What is your feeling about this celebration? What do you take of this celebration?
I think it's an excellent way to respect and honor our people who gave their lives for the country.
Right, right. I see a lot of children, and that's our hope, that they inherit something and don't forget it.
That
we are going to leave this world, and I hope they continue.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's great for us to set an example and have them continue the tradition through the years.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, dear friends, we are back, and I hope you enjoy the event. I hope you enjoy this celebration, this Memorial Day, this fourth time Memorial Day in South San Francisco. We didn't have it before. It's the fourth time, and it seems that we enjoy it this time. I hope you did too. I'm going to ask Ricardo, my guest for this show, what did you like about the event?
Well, primarily, the first thing we talked about was the additional participation. We had the South San Francisco High School Band. I saw a Girl Scout group, the bagpipes, and definitely the speakers.
What school this band belongs to?
The high school band is from the South San Francisco High School.
South San Francisco High School. Do you have any children involved in the band?
Well, both my daughter and my younger son participated all 4 years while they were there, but my son did not play at the Memorial Day celebration.
Okay. It was a very emotional thing to hear the band playing at the beginning. What did you like about the procession from one place to the other?
Well, I like the fact that it gave the community a chance to see what was going on. Unfortunately, even though it was well publicized, it has only grown slightly in the 4 years that it has been celebrated, but I have seen steady growth, and by marching from the firehouse to the park, some of the locals actually saw the procession and asked what was going on, and it was really enjoyable walking along with some of the politicians and some of the kids in the school and things like that. So it was
very good, very good. I think I agree with you that we need to spread the word, spread the word ourselves. Actually, the word, spread the word, because the flyers sometimes they don't get to the people. Do you have any relatives or someone in the family as veterans?
No, anybody that was in the family that was a veteran or member of the military has passed away, but I did have a best friend when I was in high school that died in the Vietnam War.
Oh, he died in the Vietnam War. What's
Correct.
his name?
His name was Mike Thompson.
Mike Thompson. Well, this is the reason of this celebration, to remember all those who gave their lives for the freedom of this country. I came in 1954 to this country, and the next day that I got to Los Angeles, I went to register, because at that time was the draft for the military service, and you have to register if you were 18, 19, 20, over 18 years old. So I went, and I wanted to go. Really, I don't know what got into me that I wanted to go and serve the country, which I came to live in. But I was not accepted. You know, I didn't speak English at that time, but my intentions were good, and I am sure that many Latinos, many our countrymen from Mexico, from South America, probably they served in those wars.
Yes.
I remember probably at that time was I don't know if it was the Korean or the Vietnam War. I also knew a veteran in South San Francisco. He moved to Texas after living so many years here in South San Francisco, and he came back with only one arm, and both legs were gone, one of the arms were gone, and he used a wheelchair, and he ran for the city council at one time. He didn't make it, but he's active, very good. So I remember him also. Very good. What do you think of the selective draft for the Army and being a volunteer?
Well, since I also grew up with the selective service, I believe that in a time of need, we have to have men and women to fill the positions that are needed. And if the volunteer Army does not fill that need, we would definitely have to go back to a selective service program.
Right. Thank you. I agree with you, and the only reason I agree with you is that sometimes during the selective service, we all are involved, and maybe the country doesn't need all of us, but at least they prepare the people. And when it is a volunteer, sometimes the country needs persons in those conflicts that we have right now, and they are prepared in a hurry. They are prepared in a hurry, and I think it's not very good for the men and women who happen to go and volunteer. You have to be mentally prepared for these situations. Anyway, I hope we don't need to, but when that time comes, be prepared. What else did you like about the celebration, about the event? What speeches, for instance, made an impact in yourself?
Well, one of the things that impressed me quite a bit was that a local businessman, a gentleman that I had met through different dealings in South San Francisco and some of the community events, Al Bamfield, I was not aware that he was a veteran.
Yes.
And when he went up to speak, he mentioned the fact that he was kind of forced into speaking by our mayor, Carol Matsumoto. But yet he went up there and you could see the emotion, you could see the reflection, and yet he moved me more than any of the speakers.
Yes, he expressed in some way his anger, the frustration when veterans, they come from their service and they are not welcome. I think a message for our people in our community and everywhere, we should, if you see a veteran, if we know he's a veteran, talk to them, encourage them. Don't you agree with?
Oh, sure. I think we should acknowledge our veterans at every opportunity.
And offer them our help, if they need.
That too.
Sometimes it's very hard to recognize them because right now in the economic situation in we are getting out of it. Many of these people are homeless, and many don't have a job, and we should try to help them in somehow.
I agree.
Yes. You said you have come to these events almost twice.
3 of the
or
4.
two, yeah.
Correct.
What do you think we should add to this event next time, or the city of South San Francisco?
Well,
should add?
ideally, since we saw the Girl Scouts out there, it would be nice to see maybe a Boy Scout troop, maybe have some vintage cars, get some of the maybe sporting activities leagues involved, have some of the softball leagues march and things of that nature. Something just to make it more festive. It's great to do what we're there to do, but there's nothing wrong with making it festive.
Ricardo, I want to thank you before the time is over. I want to thank you to come and speak about the celebration, and hopefully this is not that last time.
Oh, thank you,
I want to
Pedro.
invite you the next time and talk about another subject.
Thank you so much.
very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you the next event, the next time, the next program. Thank you.